This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
We're back. Yep, after a hiatus of taking care of everybody, including the dog, we are back to do Alive again. And for those of you who are listening that have been our listeners, thank you. Thank you, thank you. And for those of you who are new, let me tell you what we're doing. We did a show called Alive Again for many years, and then I had to take care of my dog who was sick and then later transitioned. And now he's transitioned and we're back doing the show because I thought it was more important to take care of Friend than to do anything else. And for those pet lovers, I hope you understand that. For those of you who are new, Alive Again is about animal communication, it's about animal energy, and it's about pets on the other side. So if you have questions, send us questions at Brent@PetLifeRadio.com and we will be glad to answer them. Or you can send them to Mark@PetLifeRadio.com. Today's show, this is one of the questions I get the most of. I mean, the most of is, how do I get more signs from my pets on the other side? And I have joining us today, we have Joy, and Joy is the administrator for our Facebook group called Animal Afterlife and Pet Loss. And she's had this question presented multiple times, and I want her to help answer because Joy was a newbie in the beginning. When I first met her, she didn't want to talk about death. She didn't want to talk about anything with death. And it was just like, no, 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 no. But now, after she had a near-death experience, which we're going to have a show on, is really interesting, she can talk about how to come into learning about signs on the other side. Because she would write me and go, I'm not getting any signs. I don't know about this. How do I get signs? And it's just like, Joy, don't ask me another question. But her little mind was just rocking and rolling. So I think the best thing to do is for her to be able to talk to you about how to get more signs, because she came from the side of never, never, neverland, it's not possible, into, wow, I'm getting signs. So I introduced Joy. Her dog's name was Trig. He was a chocolate lab, and I think that was a black lab, really dark brown. Which was it?
Black lab.
Yeah. And so, Joy, if you will tell us sort of how more signs from Trig, we'd appreciate it.
Sure, and thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Okay, so as you said, I didn't know anything. I didn't even know pets could send signs. And I was actually getting signs and did it. I felt that there was something to it, but I didn't know anything about it. I had gotten a song a couple days after he transitioned. I took him to have him cremated, and I was returning home with his ashes, and I was in the car crying when I got back home. I was crying so bad I couldn't even get out of the car. And the radio was still on, and it was a song, I'm Gonna Keep On Loving You, which was an older song, and it came on, and I just stopped crying because my heart, I felt it in my heart. It was somehow Trig was sending me a message.
I'm going to interrupt her right here. For those of you, when she said that, I just had goosebumps all over me. And for those of you who don't know what goosebumps are in the psychic world, goosebumps are what we call God bumps. It means it's recognition of truth. And when Joy said he played that song, I just got covered in chill bumps all over me, or we call them God bumps, knowing that, wow, that's truthful. So even in your deepest grief, you will have signs that sometimes you recognize and sometimes she doesn't. But if you'll notice, she said she just calmed down. And that's one of the ways you know it's a real sign. Go ahead, Joy.
Okay. And so, yeah, it was really comforting. And that is the pretty much only reason I was able to pull myself together and get out of the car. And even then, I didn't know anything about pets sending signs, but I knew in my heart that was something, somehow, that was from Trig.
Now, let me ask you a question. Why, like millions of other people out there, did you think pet couldn't send signs?
I had just not heard anything about it. I had never researched the afterlife.
And because so you were still thinking that there's a rainbow bridge and everybody goes over and sits and waits until you die and joins you.
Exactly. There was no other perspective. That's just, he was gone and that was the end of it.
Oh, well, so not true for you listeners out there.
Oh, definitely not true.
And so I think that that's one of the first things to do. If you're out there going, what is she talking about? How in the world can a pet from the other side send signs? Well, you stay tuned to our station. We're going to show you how and teach you how to do that. So here's Joy. She never knew anything, but all of a sudden, picking up his ashes, you were sitting in the car and you felt comfort.
Yes, I was crying, couldn't get out of the car, and the radio was still on. And then all of a sudden, the song played, and I just stopped crying. And it was like he was sitting right there beside me. I can't really put it into words, but I just knew that this was a message from him to me.
And it was, because the bottom line is, what happens is when their soul on the other side sends a sign to you, their energy is connected to that sign. And that energy your soul recognizes. So if Trig's energy is and Joy's sitting there and the song is playing, then her heart, in addition to hearing the song, which the words, "I'll continue loving you," her heart resonates with the and that tells her mind, this feels like Trig. Wow. This feels like Trig. And that's how she recognizes it as a sign.
Exactly. It was the same as if he was sitting there and I was petting him just like before.
And your heart felt that way because you couldn't touch him at that time, right?
Yes.
And you had that same calm inside yourself that you felt when you were touching him, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, so that was your first exposure.
Yes.
Now, how did you learn as a newbie to get from, that's got to be Treg sending me that? Because I had the same thing with Mike. When my fiance Mike was killed, the first song I heard when I was coming back from the funeral was Time, Love, and Tenderness. And it's about, in time, you'll understand the love and tenderness is forever. And I just kept playing over and over again. And I went, I know that's from Mike. I don't know what it means, but I know that's from Mike. And it's just sort of like, if you're a newbie, don't doubt that your heart is saying, I know that. I know that's from the deceased earth suit, or pet suit we call it. And don't doubt that, because that's their way of resonating in your soul, so that you start paying attention to them connecting with you. And if you hold on, we'll take a minute off and let our sponsors talk.
You know the expression, cats have 9 lives. Well, what if you can give them one more? The Give Them 10 movement is on a mission to help give cats an extra life. How? With spay and neuter. Spaying or neutering your cat helps them live a longer, healthier life. And it helps control free-roaming cat populations too. Learn more about the benefits of spay and neuter and meet Scooter, the neutered cat, at GiveThem10.org. That's GiveThem10.org.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
All right, we are back, and thank you very much for being our sponsor. We appreciate expanding awareness out there that a rainbow bridge is just a poem and life after death is real. It's not dead and done. So we have Joyce with us today, and she's talking about how the first time she ever, as a newbie, felt Trig in her heart was when she was coming back with his ashes, and lo and behold, a song came on. And that's something to look out. A lot of times, the first song that you hear getting into a car or waking up in the morning with your radio is one of the first ways that pets and people on the other side can touch you and let you know, hey, I'm alive and well and wanting to connect with you. All right, Joey, what were other ways that you started getting signs, and how did you learn to get more signs? How did you up Trig's game so that instead of getting one sign and that was it, that Trig would send you more signs and you became more comfortable in getting them, and it created a greater joy and a greater sense of peace, but yet you were wanting to get more and more and more? How'd you do that?
Well, yeah, and it did really, really change. I mean, it went from not knowing anything to getting constant messages and dreams. He would send me bunnies because he always loved chasing the bunnies. And on my birthday or holidays, there was always a black bunny in my yard, and I live in the city, so it's not like a common thing.
Okay, let's stop right there. You just said the key to it. For a lot of people out there who are doubting, going, maybe it is, maybe it didn't, maybe it is, maybe it didn't. Here's the key. Ask yourself, how many times has this happened before? Now, Joey's sitting there saying there's a black bunny. You know, bunnies are brown usually. There's a black bunny coming in, and she knows that that's Trig because Trig used to love to chase bunnies. Mike, my fiance, sent a fox because I used to always call him the silver fox. And so he sent a silver fox into my life. I had a lady who lived in Japan, and her dog sent butterflies to her, except she was on the 34th floor of an apartment building. Now, butterflies are not usually that high up. So when you have something like that, instead of turning it on yourself and going, nah, say to yourself, how often has this occurred? What is the probability of this happening? And then you go, well, not really. It's never happened before until now. You think? That's because your spirit on the other side is going, yoo-hoo, pay attention. So Trick was doing a good job. What other things did he send? And was there an order of progression? Like, did he send the bunny first? Did he send the dreams first? The song, a lot of spirits start off with a song. How did he progress from bunnies to his other signs?
Well, it was a level of progression, and it was kind of equivalent with the level I was on.
Okay, so you're saying if you shut him out, you got less signs, but if you were more receptive, he gave you more signs because you were giving him an opportunity to have his energy come in and be a part of your life rather than going, no, I don't believe this stuff.
Yes, definitely. I considered it possible, and the more I did interact with him, the more signs I did get. And that, along with your After Death Signs book, that was very helpful. I started out using those communication prayers.
Right.
And then I just got to where, it just came naturally. I would just talk to him, just as I did before.
Okay, let's talk about that alone. For those of you listening, this is something that's really, really important. And we'll give you this tip when we come back.
Take a bite out of your competition. Advertise your business with an ad in Pet Life Radio podcasts and radio shows. There is no other pet-related media that is as large and reaches more pet parents and pet lovers than Pet Life Radio. With over 7 million monthly listeners, Pet Life Radio podcasts are available on all major podcast platforms. And our live radio stream goes out to over 250 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, Odyssey, TuneIn, and other streaming apps. For more information on how you can advertise on the #1 pet podcast and radio network, visit PetLifeRadio.com/advertise today.
Let's talk pets
Let's talk pets
on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Thanks again to our fabulous sponsors. We're back, and here's that tip I was promising. The most important thing for you to do, when I've been doing this for like 30 years, is I hear people say, well, my dog's dead and I don't get any signs. What? Well, my cat died and I don't get any signs. Let me explain that the minute they leave their pet suit and the earth suit, they are alive and well in their living spirit suit. And a lot of people keep thinking, pet is dead, therefore I can't get any signs. Here is how to recouch it in your mind so you can acknowledge the discarded pet suit or the discarded earth suit. Because when a living energy that lives inside a pet suit transitions, and that's the key word, transitions from a pet suit or earth suit into a living spirit or spirit suit, that's what it does. It transitions from the body to the spirit. The energy never changes. It just changes from the earth suit to the spirit suit. And a lot of people need to make that break in your mind. And the break is dead earth suit, dead pet suit. I prefer to say discarded, because usually there is a health incident that precipitates transition. And that health incident means that the body is not serving the energy that lives in it. And by the body not serving the energy, it takes off and it becomes living energy, but the discarded earth suit. Think about in the winter when you take your coat off and you put it over there. Well, that's what the pet does. He just discards his pet suit and then goes into living energy. And if you're still talking about a dead dog, then you're shutting off the living spirit energy. But if you say, my pet transitioned, then you're acknowledging they left their pet suit and they're now a living spirit. And that opens up your energy field to be able to get more signs coming in. So when you got to that point, Joy, of being able to say, Trig is alive and well, were you talking to him every day?
Oh, yes, all the time.
Were you talking to a dead dog or were you talking to a living spirit? Did you just accept that, okay, he's alive and well on the other side? Or were you still thinking, well, I'm trying to talk to a dead dog?
Oh, no, I knew without a doubt he was alive. And I mean, I knew he is alive. And I mean, the signs continued and they started off with the songs and the bunnies and they later got deeper the more I interacted with him.
Now tell me how you would interact with him. Because people might think you're a little woo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
I would just, well, they might think that, but that's okay. I would just talk to him. I would ask for signs. I would ask for specific signs and then they would come also.
Now wait, when you asked for specific signs, did you want them to like, I want a sign right now? Because, you know, you can't say to the other side, I want a sign right now until you've had a long-term relationship. Because when they're on the other side, as spirit energy has to learn how to come down and meet your earth energy. Now, we've got several videos on this on TikTok and on our YouTube station under Brent Atwater, and it shows how to connect your earth energy with their spirit energy. It's a blending of the two energies together, and it takes each of you a little bit of while of, as a earth person, you have to expand your energy and your awareness and reach up to accept their energy and think of them sitting up in the earth suit going, I don't have an earth suit anymore. How am I going to bark at mother? And then they're in a spirit suit going, now how do I manipulate this spirit energy so I can down there and make a bark for mom? Because they're manipulating electromagnetic energy. And a lot of you may have heard your pet that's left their earth suit barking. And yes, that's a real sign because they're in the spirit world manipulating electromagnetic energy, and they have the ability to go, I hear them barking. You're not crazy. They're manipulating that energy, but they have to learn to manipulate electromagnetic energy from the other side, just like you as a human being have to open your mind and expand your awareness to allow their vibrational frequencies to come into your energy field so you get it. Give us some more examples, Joy.
Okay, well, you were asking if I just asked for a sign right now. And no, I didn't. I would ask for a sign within 3 days, which I learned that from the After Death Signs book. And a lot of times I would get them without asking also. He'll just, he would send them and I would be able to recognize.
And would you say, thank you, send some more, or what would you do?
Yes, I would say, thank you, Triggy Boy. I would always acknowledge the sign. I would ask for more signs. And one thing I did want to say is that's what helped me a lot was knowing what kind of signs they do send and knowing that they can be anything. It's not the same for each person, but it's also important to not let your expectations get in the way.
That's right.
Although he would send me a lot of cloud images, in the beginning when on that end of the sign, that level of signs, it was cloud images and heart rocks and songs and bunnies. And when he would send me the cloud images, they were usually like a paw print or even the shape of, a Labrador's head in the clouds. But there was, in the beginning of my learning, there was one time where I had asked him for a sign that he was with me on my walk with my other lab, just showing me he was there. I just wanted to know for sure he was there with me on that walk. So I asked for a sign on that walk. And I kept looking in the sky and I was looking and looking and I was so disappointed when I got home because I never saw a paw print or a doggy face or anything in the clouds. I did see a perfect shaped number 3, which was kind of cool, but I didn't see the paw print. And so I was all let down. And then I just kept thinking about the number 3. And so later that night, I looked it up under angel numbers. I wanted to know what the meaning of 3 was because it was just a perfect shaped number 3. And when I looked it up, 3 is the number of confirmation. And it said, confirmation spirit is near. And so that was that was even better than the sign I was wanting, but I expected to see something different like a paw print or a doggy face or something else. And so I almost missed it. But it was actually even better than what I was thinking he was going to send. He sent a number 3 instead with the exact meaning that yes, spirit is near.
And that alone is something that people do. They have this expectations of, I want a dream from my pet. And yet some people will feel the pet jump on the bed. Other people will say, well, I want a song from my pet, and they'll get a vision in the cloud, or they'll look at a license plate, and the license plate will have their name on it or something like that. So one of the key ways to get more signs is not to have an expectation, because your pet spirit, keyword, pet spirit, is the one in charge of the signs. Now, I know you're on the earth getting used to saying, sit, stay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But guess what? When they get on the other side, they're in charge. And so they make the choice of how to send you signs, because they are the ones in charge of manipulating the energy so that it comes into the earth realm so that you can get it. And another thing is, be very specific in saying, I'd like to have a sign about this. But as Joy said, be open-minded. Just because it's not a paw print when he sent the 3 that says, I'm close. They are there to teach you to be more aware and to expand your understanding and your interchange with the other side. And so it's really important to expect them to have signs, and when they do come through, good boy, good girl, let's do this some more, and to ask them to be a part of your life, because a pet cannot choose to interfere with your free will choice. So the most important part is ask them to be a part of the rest of your life for the rest of your life. With that, you have opened your whole energy field to allow them to come in. Number 2, say, show me. Teach me. And they can do that from the other side. And that way, as a human being, they expand your awareness, they expand your knowledge and understanding of how they can relate to you from the other side. I always say, be with me 24/7, 365. And that way, they will be able to do that rather than going, well, I'll just go to her when she's in the car or just when she's in the bathtub. Allow them to be with you 365, and they will do that. Let them show you their ways, because some people say, I feel my cat jump up on the bed all the time, but I never get a dream. Other people say to me, I get dreams all the time, but I don't see him and I can't smell him and I don't feel him. Well, allow your pet to use the tools that they like to use, and as time progresses, you will sync together so that you will have a more varied group of signs. And by you always saying, send me some more, let's see some more, good boy, good girl, they know that they're not interfering with your life by going, well, if I go down there and tell her and send her 3 more signs, it's going to upset her day. No, it's not. And do signs get old? The answer is nope, because I've had Mike gone for like almost 30 years now. I still talk with him and with him every day. I've had cats that are with me and are around me every day. So one of the most important things is be open-minded. Look at it. Dead is not done. The pet suit has been discarded. The living spirit is ready to rock and roll with you. And Joy, do you have any other suggestions that we can wind this up with so that people can practice?
I do. Besides just reminding that not to let your expectations get in the way, I wanted to say really quick about the dreams. I wanted a dream visit for a long, long time, and I didn't get one, even though I was getting these other incredible, deeper level signs. I couldn't get a dream visit. And that, for anybody else that is having that same situation and not getting that dream visit, there's probably a reason why, because I did finally get that dream visit, and it was so deep. It was so much. It was like being with him again, because it was an actual visitation. But if I had gotten that dream visit when I first asked for it, I would not have been able to handle it, because it was so
intense.
Yes, so intense. It was overwhelming, and I loved it, when I did get it. But in the beginning, it would have just destroyed me even more. So there's a reason you might not be getting that dream that you want so bad, but in perfect timing, maybe you will when you're ready for it. I feel like they know when you're ready and when you're not. But also, I saw a lot of people were asking a common question in the Animal Afterlife Pet Loss, the Facebook group.
Yep.
They were wanting to know how to know what sign is from who.
Okay. Well, for those of you who have multiple pets, stay tuned. We will do another show on what sign is from which pets you've had, because this is the most important thing to remember. They live in 24/7, 365, and they do not have a time frame. So a pet that you had when it's 5 years old is just as viable as one that you just lost the earth suit, that is. So open your mind, stay tuned, and we're going to hope to expand your awareness and just have a great time knowing that dead is not done, and that communicating and connecting with pets that are alive and well is a good thing, and alive and well on the other side, we can connect and communicate with them too. Stay tuned. Follow us on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, and we'll look forward to talking with you next week. Bye.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.